Welcome to this edition of the SKN Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey.
After police warned the public about participating in an unapproved protest in Independence Square, the small group of protesters had their placards confiscated. SKN Newsline's Glenn Bart has more.
A group of citizens who attempted to have a demonstration in Independence Square over the August Monday holiday was shut down by police. On 1st August, the Police High Command issued a statement saying the command had become aware of a demonstration being organized to be held on the 2nd of August. It warned that such an event would be unlawful. According to the statement, no application requesting permission for any group or person to organize, coordinate, and/or host any meeting or procession in any public space in Bastille was submitted to the Commissioner of Police. The statement reads in part, quote, "Any such event found to be taking place on Monday, August 2nd, 2021 will be considered unlawful and will be brought to an end, and the persons responsible will be prosecuted." The police are therefore appealing to the good citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis to not take part in any such unlawful event and are sending a stern warning to those who intend to. End quote. On August Monday, police were in the square early and a few persons were seen with placards, most against the need to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Police were seen speaking with some individuals holding placards. Later, an officer was seen collecting those placards. The small group of protesters then took a quiet walk around the square and around downtown Bastille, including Church Street, the site of government headquarters, which was closed for the holiday. Police did not intervene or prevent the small group of protesters from walking. Under the current COVID-19 pandemic, any event with mass gatherings must have a prior permission. An online application to the police to hold such an event must be made. The new application procedure requires that event holders provide documentation on how COVID-19 protocols will be enforced during the event. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The St. Peter's Bus Drivers Association got an audience with the Prime Minister in addressing some of their concerns, most notably a new bus terminal. More in this report. Days after our story was published where the St. Peter's Bus Drivers Association called for a new location for a bus terminal, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris met with representatives of the association to discuss the matter. According to PRO of the association, Delroy Carey, the newly elected president of the association requested the meeting of the Prime Minister, who met with them on August Monday. Members of the association and the Prime Minister would have visited various proposed sites for a new bus terminal, including a section of the old Bastille High School campus on Victoria Road.
If you're familiar with the college you got, there's a piece of land next door where Mick Heiliger lives, where the government had approached the family already about purchasing that area to be used for the bus terminal. However, we are saying that once we're in College Street, it really doesn't fix most of the problem that we are having, and we are still looking at, hurricane, the rainy season, of functioning in God. So we are really in favor of moving away from College Street, So we went over and we looked at the front of the high school, and I want to make this clear that the Prime Minister did not recommend or suggest to us to use the high school. We made the suggestion to the Prime Minister about using just the front entrance of the high school. We're not going across the field, we're not interfering with any classroom. We're just asking if we could be allowed to screen up the front area, so we will go in and make a U-turn and come back out the high school gate. And why I reiterate that, because it's already been out that the Prime Minister putting us over there, and we know that the grounds have issues, so we are saying to people we are not going in the danger zone of the school. We are staying to the front area. Why we suggested a quick term, it is less costly for us to function there for the time being. We have access to the bathroom, we have access to a shelter, we have access where we can operate as a bus association, even a little bar for the time being. And we could have something to do because we wait about 2 hours before we could get a trip. So in the meantime, I'm saying we could have some dummy or some form of entertainment here. We also looked at Carnival Village as a proposed permanent place for the bus terminal. So that is also being taken into consideration.
Overall, the public relations officer said the meeting was productive. He is hopeful the new bus terminal location could be ready by the start of the new school year.
No, we were not given a permanent time because, as they explained to us, Public Works would have to be involved. The Transport Board would have to be involved. Traffic Department would have to be involved. So there would have to be some discussion. I guess they have to go look at the area, clear the area. So there's a little bit of work to be done still before. But for us, from the association standpoint, we are hoping that we would be able to operate from there for the opening of the new school season in September.
Mr. Carey thanked the association president for reaching out to the Prime Minister, and he also thanked the Prime Minister for taking time to meet with them on a holiday. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. When we come back, a man drowns off the coast of Redonda. Elliot's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliot's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500, homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007 or 660-0186. Elliot's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis. Dedicated to those we serve.
When you need electronics or appliances, find just what you want quickly in one location. Yes, everything's under one roof. Only at Smart Electronics. We have tons of name brands, amazing service, and easy layaway plans. Summer is just around the corner, and we will save you the hassle of walking around town or going to St. Martin. We have everything you need right here in St. Kitts, so don't get confused and go different places. We are located at Port Zonte opposite the food court. Visit us today, or if you have any questions, you can call 466-4271. Smart Electronics, way to live a smart life. Terms and conditions apply.
Where will we go when the quarantine thing done and everybody touch?
An open interactive event can be described as
tremendous, effective,
on par with any conference around the world.
From exhibitions to trade shows, corporate events to product launches, from press events to political functions. We are the secret sauce behind events that make you go, wow. We've staged multiple world-class events in the Caribbean and developed the skill to deliver quality in every detail, whether the event is live or fully virtual, or maybe even somewhere in between. At Open Interactive, we got your events covered. Get your free quotation today at www.madebyopen.com.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Welcome back. What is the significance of Emancipation Day to residents and citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis? We explored that issue in this report. Emancipation Day has come and gone, but how many persons in St. Kitts and Nevis understand the significance of this occasion? Emancipation Day is officially August 1st across the English-speaking Caribbean, marking the abolition of slavery in 1834, but is observed on the first Monday of August in most territories, known to many as August Monday. In St. Kitts and Nevis, there isn't a major event marking the holiday, leaving one to wonder if the occasion is seen as important in the eyes of Kittitians and Nevisians. It's a concern that local Pan-Africanist Greg Herbert shares.
You have a situation where our people are still under a imposed and also self-imposed state of amnesia. We seem to have detached ourselves completely from those people who are pre-adult suffrage, pre-labor movement in the grand scheme of things, and we don't consider ourselves to be a part of the people that were enslaved. And it's really unfortunate. Our people do not understand the reason why they have a holiday, most of them, and it's really unfortunate.
Mr. Herbert believes that political leaders have a role to play in highlighting the importance of Emancipation Day.
They seem to place more emphasis on things that have to do with their political party, which is basically adult suffrage time. The problem is that they seem to place more emphasis on things that have to do with their political party, which is basically adult suffrage time. The problem is that our leaders have done little to nothing to commemorate those people that came before, or forerunners or foreparents. In St. Neil's, for example, we have not one monument celebrating the people who resisted and fought the enslavement placed upon them. We should have monuments from the very north in St. Kitts to the south in Frigate Bay. Same for Nevis. African people were here fighting and resisting enslavement since they touched ground, since about maybe 1625, 1626. And we don't have any of that. Our people, sometimes wait for the cues of our politicians and other leaders in the community to sometimes give them an idea as to their identity.
The Pan-Africanist also believes there's a role for the average person to play in highlighting the importance of Emancipation Day.
Do what I did. Have a conversation with your children. I was speaking to my 7-year-old and, explaining what is Emancipation Day, and he was asking me, what is it? What is a slave? He didn't understand. I had to explain to him, and he was very sad. He didn't understand why, how people could treat other people. So I had to explain to him that his foreparents were in that situation, and if it not for them fighting and struggling, he would have been in that situation maybe. You never know. I had to explain to him that, there was a time that people could have owned him and sold him away from me. I could not have argued. Somebody could have come and have taken him anytime they feel like. So it's important that our people educate themselves to educate their children.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. A man from Connery drowned during the 2-day holiday off the coast of Redonda. Gerald MacDonald of Connery Village, 37-year-old, drowned near Redonda on Tuesday. Though police have not formally released details of the incident, it was noted that the officers of District C, Nevis, are investigating the matter. Media reports suggested that MacDonald went out to catch fish with friends near Redonda when he encountered difficulty. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. When we come back, concern about face-to-face classes in Jamaica.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go. Welcome back. Now turn our attentions to a look at news across the region.
The Teachers Union in Jamaica is suggesting that face-to-face classes cannot return in September due to the spike in COVID-19 cases in the country. More in this TVJ report.
The Jamaica Teachers Association says with the recent surge in COVID-19 cases, it is uncertain if schools can reopen for the upcoming school year. President of the association, Jasford Gabriel, also wants the government to address concerns that unvaccinated students could be spreaders of the deadly virus in schools. Shamala Pullen reports.
Over the last few weeks, the Minister of Education has been busy making plans for the return of face-to-face classes come September. But with the recent surge in COVID-19 cases, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Jasford Gabriel, warns that may not happen.
It's not looking good for the reopening of schools. If you look back last time this year, we were still in single digits with the COVID-19 numbers, and we still were not able to open in September. As a teaching profession, we would dearly love a school to be open for face-to-face, and we still are hoping that even against hope, but the signs right now are not very good. Of course, it will be up to the Ministry of Health and Wellness to decide. We are obviously guided by the World Health Organization. We have to look at reproductive rates, positivity rates.
Mr. Gabriel says the country should prepare for the worst, which also means the government implementing the necessary measures for another round of online teaching.
If we are not able to open for face-to-face, ensuring that we are much better off for blended modalities to offer online teaching and learning. So obviously I would expect that, we will hear very shortly from our Honorable Minister of Education where exactly we are at with internet connectivity in schools, how many schools now, how many more communities, what about laptops for teachers? That is a basic necessity going into the start of the new school year. So we must be in a much better space to reach most, if not all our students if we are not able to open for face-to-face.
Meanwhile, Mr. Gabriel says the government also needs to state its plans for students to also get vaccinated.
When we had face-to-face instructions, almost 100% of the cases of the COVID-19 pandemic was among students, asymptomatic in nature, rapid spread because of transportation issues and gathering issues. And so even if all teachers are vaccinated, and we continue to encourage our teachers to get vaccinated, how is it we're going to treat with students who are not vaccinated, the transportation issue, the spread if it begins within the institutions? We still will have to close anyway.
Shamala Pullen, TVJ News.
Two Colombian University health professionals are certain that Guyana will see a reduction in suicide rates upon the conclusion of a wellness and suicide prevention project slated to officially begin in October 2021. They are presently in the country setting things in motion for the groundbreaking initiative. Kendall Richmond of HGP TV reports.
American health professionals Christina Hoven, a psychological epidemiologist, and George Musa, a medical geographer attached to the Colombian University, both believe they can aid in the reduction of Guyana's high suicide rate through the launching of a wellness and suicide study slated to commence in October. According to the duo, who were interviewed by Nightly News on Tuesday, the project, which will involve the collection of qualitative data from Guyanese across the 10 administrative regions, will not only focus on Guyana's suicide rates, but will seek to discover the reasons Guyanese, especially the youth population, continue to attempt and commit suicide. Although this is not the first suicide study to be conducted in Guyana, Hoven is adamant that this specific project is different from the other studies and as such will generate better results.
Many studies have only looked at psychopathology. That's not the only answer. It's an answer. But why are so many young people killing themselves? They are not mentally ill. Some of them are, but many of them are not. Why?
A 2014 report by the World Health Organization cited Guyana as one of the countries with the highest suicide rates in the world, 44.2 suicides per 100,000 deaths, 4 times the global average. In 2015, Guyana became one of only 28 countries to develop a suicide prevention plan in response to the report. The plan identifies factors that could contribute to the country's high rate of suicide. But despite the formulation of this plan, the country continues to record a high number of suicide deaths yearly. In June 2021, a 15-year-old student committed suicide, representing one in the dozens of other young Guyanese who have ended their lives by suicide. According to Hovind, the suicide rates among the young population is rapidly growing across the world, and this does not exclude Guyana. Therefore, the study will target persons from ages 15.
We're paying attention to world data, to Guyanese data. Who's killing themselves? It's an unfortunate situation, and the only way we're going to find out how to stop it is to ask a lot of questions, put the data together, and try to figure out what the problems are, and then try to do something about it.
The study is expected to be conducted in 3 components and will assess Guyana's suicide rates, the reason persons attempt suicide, and why persons who have committed suicide chose that route. Meanwhile, it was indicated by Musa that the team is optimistic that this study will positively impact Guyana.
Well, definitely optimistic. Sure is a very strong word, but definitely optimistic that we can provide the information and work with the ministry to reduce the rates. Other countries have done it. Guyana can do it too.
In the interim, while the study will need to be completed to directly respond to suicide in Guyana, Hovind believes that the government should do more to prohibit easy access to pesticides, which she said is vastly used by persons who commit suicide locally.
There's work that's been done in China, there's work that's been done in India that's been very successful in creating barriers to getting to the pesticides. That could happen irrespective of the study we're doing.
Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, Kendall Richmond.
With COVID-19 cases rising and political pressure mounting in the U.S., the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has issued a new 60-day moratorium on rental evictions. It's a move the public health agency said would protect 90% of Americans. There had been fears millions could be left homeless if the ban was not extended after a moratorium had expired last Saturday. A small group of progressive Democratic legislators, led by Representatives Cori Bush, had camped out at the steps of U.S. Capitol building to protest official inaction on the eviction ban after the congressional chamber left Washington, D.C. for a month-long recess. President Joe Biden said that the measure is a stopgap while landlords wait for federal aid to be distributed. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan reports from Washington, D.C., in the USA.
11 months ago, the U.S. imposed an eviction moratorium for 15 million renters to slow the spread of COVID-19 and to not put sick people out of their homes. The moratorium expired on Saturday, even though COVID cases are rising again. By Monday morning, landlords had flooded housing courts with petitions to evict their tenants. 3 million could become homeless this month. Luis Vertentes is among them. He was in the hospital and unable to work. He now owes his landlord $5,000.
They gave me 3 weeks because I begged for it. And in 3 weeks, I have no idea where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do.
U.S. President Joe Biden, under pressure to extend the moratorium, told reporters on Tuesday this situation was not supposed to happen.
We'll probably give some additional time while we're getting that $45 billion out to people who are, in fact, behind in the rent and don't have the money. That's why it was passed in the act that we passed in the beginning of my administration, and it went to the states. We were under the impression that the states were moving this money out relatively rapidly.
That $45 billion in back rent assistance was part of Biden's first major pandemic emergency spending law as president. But housing advocates say there are too many roadblocks getting the money to landlords, leaving tenants in a bind. And there's the problem of whether moratoriums declared by the administration are legal. The Supreme Court recently ruled they're not, and that only Congress can authorize them. Well, Congress didn't do that before going on summer holiday, leading some congresswomen to sleep on the steps of the Capitol in protest and to call on Biden to act.
I do understand it. I do know what it's like. I do know what it's like to have babies sleeping in a car with trash bags, my belongings, everything I own in trash bags, because I know what that's like. There's no way that I could sit back and be quiet.
And then celebration.
You guys are fabulous.
Late on Tuesday, the CDC announced it will give renters in areas with high COVID caseloads another 60 days of relief. But what's needed is a long-term financial solution to help Americans through another surge, one that's not easily found in a time of deep political partisanship. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
India's health ministry says the coronavirus pandemic is still raging and is far from over, but millions do not have health insurance and are struggling to pay medical bills. Faced with a mountain of COVID debt, many Indians are turning to crowdfunding to pay the steep medical bills. Al Jazeera's Pavni Mittal reports from New Delhi, India.
Saurav Sharma recorded this message after spending a month on a ventilator. He needed a medical device to help him speak, but it was a major milestone in his COVID-19 recovery. However, as his condition improved and he returned home, his family faced another dilemma: paying off the $50,000 in medical bills. After spending all their savings, they borrowed from friends, family, and the bank. Still short, they turned to a popular fundraising site and raised $30,000. Since Saurav is still unable to walk or interact with people, his family has rented a separate home for him with 24-hour care.
Financially, we lost money because of the medical bills. We lost our incomes and had these new expenses. On top of it, we have interest on loans. It was a very horrible experience. I used to feel like I had almost lost my son. Almost every day I used to feel that I would get the bad news.
Most Indians don't have health insurance. Faced with a mountain of debt due to COVID-19, thousands sought help online and have collectively raised nearly $200 million since the pandemic started. During the record-breaking second wave, online donations increased fourfold.
This was a collective struggle and empathy has only increased. And luckily, because of the digital penetration right now, in the internet penetration in India right now, through social media, we become more aware about what is happening.
India spends less than 2% of its GDP on healthcare. And as public hospitals became inundated during the peak of the second wave, many people were forced into private care. And the cost of life-saving drugs and medical equipment in short supply also shot up.
Government has been for the last 20 years, but definitely in the last 7 or 8 years, having an active process of encouraging markets in healthcare. But when the COVID-19 came on, the private sector completely failed to rise to the occasion. In the beginning, they shut shop. Later, when they opened, they were charging high.
In a bid to restart the economy, restrictions have eased across the country. But the lockdown has pushed millions into poverty. With the threat of a third wave looming large, many states have made arrangements to increase hospital beds and improve oxygen supply. But experts say that even if the next surge is mild, its economic and social cost will be disproportionately high. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee congratulated the two athletes that represented the Federation, Jason Rogers and Amaya Clark. President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee, Alfonso Bridgewater, in a statement on the weekend, President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee and Vice President of the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees. Thank you, Jason, for being such a keen and credible performer. Thank you for the pride you illustrated as an ambassador and an elite athlete. Thank you, Jason, for the contagious passion you exuded. Look back over the journey you embarked upon over the past years since the last Olympic Games, and you will find many a reason for joy, hope, and celebration. Thank you from all of us in the SKN Olympic family. To Amaya Clark, Mr. Bridgewater said, be encouraged by the experience and exposure, dearest Amaya. Looking forward to seeing the benefits of this experience reveal themselves in your future competitions. I trust that you have found new motivation. Congratulations for making it to this point in what was a most difficult and challenging year and a half. Jason Rogers competed in his third Olympics, made it to the semi-final round, finishing with a time of 10.12 seconds. Amaya qualified for the preliminary round of the women's 100-meter heats, making it to round 1 and finishing with a time of 11.71 seconds. Andre DeGrasse of Canada won gold in the men's 200-meter final at the Tokyo Olympics, marking the first time a Canadian has won the event since 1928, and just the third time ever. With a personal best and Canadian record, DeGrasse crossed the line in 19.62 seconds. Kenneth Bednarek of the USA finished with the silver medal in 19.68 seconds, and Noah Lyles finished with the bronze medal at 19.73 seconds. Earlier this week, Elaine Thompson-Herah of Jamaica made sure the Caribbean won another gold medal after she successfully defended her 200-meter Olympic title from Rio. She ran a time of 21.53 seconds, a new national record, winning the gold medal. The silver medal went to C. Mboma with 21.81 seconds, and the United States' Gabby Thomas finished for the bronze medal with 21.87 seconds. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price of Jamaica, also one of the favorites of the race, finished fourth with a time of 21.94 seconds.
Elaine Thompson-Herah, you equaled your personal best in the semi. You said that the speed got the best of you. A new national record and the first woman to win the Olympic double, back-to-back Olympics ever.
I'm a little bit speechless. And God is amazing. I've been battling with injury for years. And I've drawn God close in my heart and I talk to him. I wish I could show you my phone right now with all my PBs and my aims that I have in it. And this was a part of it, to defend my title. And no matter the struggles and the obstacles, you can hurdle them, you can do it. And I've hurdled all my obstacles and it brought me here today.
It's hard to imagine the history that you've made today. We talk about the only woman to have won back-to-back sprint doubles. You're also the first woman to win back-to-back 200s in 45 years.
Wow.
You didn't know
I never researched that one.
So what did you feel? Did you feel the pressure today? You knew you had confidence in yourself.
I had no pressure, but I was super nervous. But honestly, I'm nervous is a part of the package. But I held my composure. I mean, everybody was behind. I had to get out strong. So I would just say, run, 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 run. Shinza's song was in my head, run, run, run. So I would just keep on running. I mean, yesterday we ran 2 rounds, which we never had before. We normally have a day. But nevertheless, I came out victorious and I'm super happy.
Well, it's extraordinary. And a young girl from Banana Ground, Manchester, Jamaica, taking over the world of sprint. Your name must be entered now into the greatest of all time.
Thank you. It's entered, but I just thank my coach, my family members, my husband, of course. I know you're watching. I love you. Mwah.
Thank you, Lane. Congratulations.
You have been watching the SKN Newsline newscast. I'm Andre Huey. From all of us here at SKN Newsline and Channel 95, thank you for watching.